You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 480 for Sunday the 19th of November 2023.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Jane.
Hello there, Michelle. Isn't this year quickly moving on? I can't believe 19th of November. It's like Christmas is in sight. It's in touching distance.
8 trees gone up this weekend.
Well, I've already put one tree up.
I've seen, it's beautiful.
Only it's the earliest I've ever put a tree up. Can I just say that in my defence, it was purely because I needed to figure out how many decorations I got and whether I needed to buy any more.
Yeah, of course, we believe you.
Yeah, and I have bought more. And I bought a new remote control for my lights so I can stand in my kitchen, because it's in my new garden room, and I can stand in my kitchen and switch the lights on and off from my kitchen.
Oh, Lord. I'll be reporting back about this when I've been down to see Jane's Christmas tree extravaganza. I'm expecting the Osborne lights a la Derby.
Possibly. Who knows? I get very excited by the littlest of things, you know.
Well, it's Christmas.
Easily pleased.
Yeah. Well, we have a podcast packed of excitement, but we also have over on our Patreon channel a fantastic additional podcast exclusive to our supporters. So if you want to hear that, why not pop on over to find out how you can support the show financially, keep us running, and also to get extremely good quality content in addition to our weekly show. And that's patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. Jane, let's talk history, babes.
Okie dokie. Well, I'm going to do this weekend's history because obviously we've got the 18th of November yesterday as you guys are listening to this. And we have to mention the 18th because it was my dad's birthday.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's also Mickey's birthday as well, isn't it?
True.
So 1928. This marks when Mickey Mouse first appeared in Steamboat Willie. I didn't realise, and this is the great thing about doing this podcast, Michelle, you think you know everything, and then you read up on something and you go, did I know that or didn't I know that? That must be a new bit of information. So Steamboat Willie is actually Mickey's third short, but because it was the first with sound, it kind of, everybody treats it as it's the birth of Mickey Mouse. So, you know, but yeah, so classic Steamboat Willie, co-directed by Walt Disney with Little Fireworks, and it also featured the first appearance of Minnie Mouse as well. So, yeah, happy birthday, Mickey.
Yay.
And happy birthday to my dad as well.
Yeah.
Though he's no longer with us. Sticking on the 18th, in 1932, Walt Disney was given an honorary Oscar for the creation of Mickey Mouse by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And that's at the 5th Annual Academy Awards. And it's funny, isn't it? This is in November. We always associate the Oscars now with like February sort of time. It was only the second honorary Oscar that was ever awarded by the Academy. The first one went to Charlie Chaplin. And so consequently, Charlie Chaplin was supposed to present the award to Walt, but he decided to stay home.
Oh, as you do.
As you do, you know. At the same awards, Disney's Flowers and Trees took home the Oscar for Best Short Subject Cartoon, which is how it was phrased back in the day. Consequently, there was an animated colour short that was made called Disney's Parade of Academy Award Nominees. It was aired on this day. It done especially for the ceremony, and it featured caricatures of all those that were nominated for the Best Actor and Best Actress categories, which I thought was quite sweet, really. So we will now talk about the 19th of November, as this is going out on the 19th. So 1905 was a birthday for the actress Eleanor Audley. Now, Eleanor Audley voiced the characters of Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty and Lady Tremaine in Cinderella. For both of those films, Mark Davis, who was the animator, actually used Audley's face to represent those two characters. So not only was she the voice, but she was actually the face as well. And of course, she was also the original voice of Madame Leota in The Haunted Mansion. And then in 2013, we'll have a little bit of sad news. This saw the passing of Diane Disney Miller, the only biological daughter of Walt and Lillian Disney, passed away at the age of 79. And of course, she was responsible for the founding of the Walt Disney Family Museum over in San Francisco.
Fantastic legacy she left behind her.
Absolutely. I would recommend anybody who hasn't been out there to see that museum, go and see it. It's a lovely tribute to Walt and all that he has given us.
And can I just say, take your tissues for the end room. It is emotional.
Oh, the end room is, oh, yeah. I don't care how hard you think you are going to come out with slightly damp eyes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. Well, we've got a few things to talk about this week, Jane.
Crack on then, Michelle. Crack on.
So for all of you who don't want to buy your Pandora jewellery in Creations, why would you? Why not hop on over now to the port of entry over at Epcot, where you can purchase your Pandora there.
Ooh.
It looks really nice. It's not the entire shops that's been made over. It's just a small segment. They've got a display cabinet. It's done very different in style to the store that is in Connections. But it does look like they are selling very unique Disney charms. Nothing else. So if you want to have a bog standard one that says Dad, go over to Connections.
Right, but if you want something a bit more different,
i.e. Disney,
yeah, head there.
It's been seen that this week the character Asha from the upcoming film The Wish has been released, and she is coming into the theme parks even before the film hits the screens.
Yeah, this is a bit of a common practice now, isn't it? We don't know these characters, yet we'll put them into the park.
I know, and bless her, from what I've seen, this character is basically, when she's having her meet, is incorporating her byline, her story, into every meet so that people can sort of fathom out who she is. Because I will be honest, I thought, because of the title being The Wish, is she something to do with the cruise ship?
Ah, yeah.
So I got a little bit confused, but it just brought back a really funny story that in 2010 we took the children for 3 weeks to Walt Disney World, and it was my first trip to Walt Disney World, so I hadn't done anywhere near the planning as I do now. And we went to meet some characters, and a character called Lotso came out. Had no idea who he was, but he was big and he was fluffy and he was pink and he tasted like strawberry or smelled like strawberry. And we just had to go up and give him a big old cuddle and think he was wonderful.
Yeah.
And then when we got home a couple of months later, the film came out and I was like, Disney's tricked me. I cuddled this guy and he is a meanie pants.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird one, but I say this is the problem, isn't it? When you have characters come out and you don't know what their role is. Because you can't even go by trailers, can you? Because, you know, a good trailer for a movie, even if you've seen it, is kind of designed to hook you in, but isn't always necessarily how the story plays out.
True. Very bizarre. Very bizarre, but it is great PR to get the character out there, getting a little bit of buzz, and it really doesn't cost a great deal of money for Disney to have a character meet, to get some excitement, some pre-publicity about this film, and we will see if this film is about a cruise ship with a princess on board.
I mean, the good thing for Disney as well with using Asha, you know, it's a face character, so they're not having, all they've got to do is you know, dress her. They're not having to worry about creating a costume.
True. Some films that are in production at the moment, Jane. Why? I thought they'd done with Toy Story.
I mean, you know, I think most of us would probably say Toy Story 4 was like a bit of a, oh, really? Don't spoil what you did in 1, 2 and 3. We loved 1, 2 and 3. And they kind of got away with it. And it's like, please, just do... Oh.
So, my synopsis of Toy Story 5 is that Woody, who is now shacked up with Little Bo Peep, has realised that Little Bo Peep has got a nasty side to her, and Woody is then going to travel across the country to get back to his good old gang friends with buzz. That's my story synopsis.
We shall see if you're right, Michelle.
Or Disney might just steal my idea and write it anyway.
Well, I mean, you probably don't want to get me talking on the state of Disney and their writing at the moment. So, but yeah, they need to tread carefully. They need to get writers on board that have a solid history of creating hit movies, great content, and most importantly, they need to remember they need to tell a story. And that story needs to encapsulate us all in and make us want to go and see this. I think at the moment we're seeing with Marvel where people are getting a little bit like, oh, here we go, and then another Marvel movie. We've had it with Star Wars as well. I think you run the risk of, oh, it's another, what are they going to do this time? Or, you've got this extremely high standard that's gone before you. Therefore, you're making it more and more difficult each time that you do a sequel to attain that previous high standard. Therefore, I think you have to tread very carefully. And I would rather they devote their energy into making new stories. They're very good at taking existing fairy tales and adapting them. There are numerous fairy tales from all walks of backgrounds that could be explored and great movies made from, rather than relying on the tested and true content that they've had go before and just pin everything on that being a success just because Woody's in it or just because whoever's in it.
i.e. the cash cow.
Yeah.
And let's not even go down the whole rabbit hole of Snow White.
Are they remaking it? Are they doing anything with it? They've spent, crikey, the last thing I was seeing, it was getting towards the $350 million on this film. And the more times you have to go back and reshoot something, the more expensive it's going to get. And because they filmed a lot of it over here in the UK, the UK government is very good at giving film production companies tax credits. So if the film doesn't come out, they have to give those tax credits back. So there's a point here where it's going to have to be released in some shape or form. But if they're refilming any of it, reshooting it, redoing special effects or whatever, that already expensive movie is going to increase in price, and they're not going to be able to make that money back. Anybody out there, you need to remember, if you're spending, say, $250 million on a film, you've also got to add on to that at least another 100 to 200 million in advertising. And then remember that the money that it makes in the box office, so you may see a report, oh yeah, this film has taken 200 million on the opening weekend. Disney don't get all of that 200 million because it's got to go and be shared with all the theatres, and it varies from country to country how much the cinemas can actually retain. So, a movie like Snow White that's costing an awful lot of money has got to make an even more substantial amount of money back, and I just don't think it's going to happen.
We shall see, and I'm not even going to mention about Frozen 4, maybe in the offing. Let's just move on and close the door.
Oh, move on quickly. Yeah, quickly.
Over in Disneyland Paris, residents of select Disney hotels are going to be able to purchase a special Christmas box if they are staying at the concierge level. It contains exclusive goodies for Christmas. So I've got in front of me the picture of the Disney Hotel New York, the Art of Marvel, and you've got a very special Marvel Christmas hat, a blanket, a nice bag, a Groot with a Santa hat, a little cookie, a special glass ornament, a nice bag, and other bits and pieces. It's all branded to Marvel, and it costs in euros €169. I suppose that, for the Marvel fan, and you're staying at that hotel, is just the cherry on the cake.
It could well be, but is this only available to concierge level then?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So we shall see, but it's very exciting.
Yeah,
very
interesting.
Exciting. I like things like that, though, because it gives you a reason to splurge the extra money to stay at concierge, even though I never have.
Oh, no. Well, you never say never, Michelle. Never say never.
Do I get the little violin going? I don't care. I don't mind. I'd rather have 15 trips at Pop Century. So, yay.
Yeah.
Okay, so on our Patreon show, we went through in detail about Jollywood Nights, and we're going to look at it on the main show from a completely different point of view.
Oh, okay.
So, it would cost two people $340 to attend the event, roughly, depending on tax and which night it was. So I set Jane the challenge.
Just say that quickly, Michelle, then people won't realise how expensive it is going to be.
Exactly. I sent Jane the challenge of what else would she like to do in Hollywood studios for that amount of money if she chose not to attend this event. Did you manage to come up with anything, Janie?
Well, I'm assuming this is like we can get in the park. We're not spending it on park entry,
no.
are we?
You've got your park entry, love.
Yes, this is over and above.
Yeah.
I have got 3 words for you.
Oh, that one's 4, but is it hyphenated? Go on then.
Dooney.
Yeah.
And.
Yeah.
Burke.
Ooh.
Well, you know what? If you spend, because we know they're not cheap.
True.
You could go in and go, you know what? I'm going to have a splurge. That splurge comes home with me. That splurge is practical.
Yeah.
It can be used as many days of the year as you want. It is extremely good quality, as you can attest to, because you have a few of these little gems. You can, it would, depending on whatever one you went for, it could maybe be themed to the season, or it could be themed to outfits. It has a multitude of practical benefits.
Now, I said $340-ish, Jane. So you've got your Dooney and Burke. What does Symes get?
The pleasure of my company. a happy Jane.
Happy Jane is happy Symes.
Yeah. I mean, the other way you could do it, obviously you could use that money to, get your reservation at the Brown Derby properly and have a full-blown meal. You could use that money to, pay for all of the Lightning Lanes and Genie Pluses that you wanted for a number of days. If you were, going, it could be that money could be spread out over your whole vacation.
True. Never
mind just at Hollywood Studios, and it would pay for those type of things. I think the thing is that value of money for 2 people over 4 hours. If you were to break it down, you're not getting an awful lot of bang for your buck. Whereas you could take that money and use it over the whole of your vacation just to buy your weight's worth of snacks alone. And at least you would be able to go and try all the festive foods. Yes, you may not be able to try the festive foods that are exclusive to Jollywood Nights, but there's lots of festive foods that are on offer across all of the parks. It would give you the freedom to go and try as many of those as you wanted, as many of the drinks as you wanted. Yeah. If you've got that amount of money to spend as a special treat, there's lots of different things you could be doing with it rather than splashing it on 4 hours to see essentially 3 stage shows.
Which you can watch for free on YouTube.
Yeah, and you can't even include the food in that because the food and drink's going to be more. The fireworks are, no offence Disney, but these are fireworks that were and projections that were created quite a lot of years ago. Technology has moved on since then. I also didn't realise that some of the fireworks can't go off anymore because of where Galaxy's Edge is. They've lost some of their firework deployment space. So yeah, but yeah, there's lots of other things. What about you, Michelle? What would you be doing with it?
Well, one of the ideas is you could go to the Hollywood Brown Derby and have an absolutely squiffy 3-course meal, a bottle of wine, and still have change from your $340.
Yeah.
Now, in times gone by, you used to be able to have a 4-course lunch in the bamboo room of the Hollywood Brown Derby with a Disney Imagineer.
Which you've done before, yeah.
I have done, and it was about a 3-hour experience with a take-home signed plate from the Imagineer, and it was about $100.
Mm.
So that, to me, was ching, ching, ching value. So you could, if we were offering it, I would have said do that. You could have done the 3 hours after hours event that they're offering in January through April. Price range is $155 to $175. Now, for that price point, you get access to the attractions and you get the standard fare of bottled drinks and select frozen snacks and popcorn. So a Mickey bar, etc., popcorn, whatever. So that could have been something you may choose to do. Now, because today, as of we are recording, it is my husband's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday,
So
Todd.
I was so nice and I thought of two things. You could each build your own droid at the droid factory for $120 each and still have over $100. So technically, you could buy 3 droids and have a droid off.
You could, and then you go to Ogre's Cantina and have a drinky poo to celebrate.
Yeah. You could go to Savvy's workshop and build a lightsaber for $249.
Yeah.
Or, and I like this one, you and your beloved could go into the jewellers and buy a Mickey and Minnie 2-tone watch, the ladies and the gents version, or 2 gents or 2 ladies, whichever, $108 each.
You see, that's going to be, in my book, I mean, I know memories are memories and they hold a dear part to us. And I have had the experience of doing Mickey's Very Merry a lot of years ago, and I still hold that very dear to me. And there were some special memories that we created, but it wasn't half as expensive as what things are nowadays. But I say, my little jokey of Dooney and Burke or the watches, at least you have something tangible to take away with you that can give you memories of the whole of your vacation, the whole of your day, or whatever it may well be. Plus, as well, they have the practicality aspect of it.
Yeah, completely agree. So I think there's a little bit of thought that people may want to take about thinking, oh, what could I do instead? Now, I had a little think about Jollywood Nights, and I know we went into a lot of details with regards to the party, thinking about what was positive, what was really good on our Patreon show. I have made a list of what I would like Disney to do prior to their next event to improve it.
Oh, okay.
And we will see if this happens when the show goes live on Sunday, because as of recording today on the Friday, there hasn't been a second party yet.
Right.
So, number 1, get rid of the Medic ID that you wear on your wrist and give the attendees a really nice, plush, luxury feel ID band to suit the type of event that Disney is trying to market.
Yes, a nice little bit of gold ribbon or something would go down beautifully.
Yeah. Organise where people can check in for the event so that they're not having to queue to get in.
Multiple locations, please.
On arrival, all guests are given in a little cellophane bag a Gertie cookie, because some people queued at the party for 45 minutes for a cookie that cost $4.29. Disney, get your guests arriving with a smile on their face, give them the option of a non-alcoholic apple cider or a hot chocolate and a Gertie cookie. You're kicking the event off at a good time.
Yeah, and we know you can do this because you do it for Mickey's Very Merry, so it needs a little bit of a freebie in there to make people feel that they're getting a little bit of something out of this.
Yeah. Take Rise off a virtual queue and let the people who want to ride it multiple times be able to do so, and maybe think about putting some entertainment in to the Pixar area or the Batu area, so that in Galaxy's Edge and the Toy Story area, people have got something to do other than ride a ride, and it might spread things out a bit. Maybe put some food over there that people can have.
Yeah, a couple of DJ stands, something dead easy.
Yeah. Food kiosks, more of, please, because people obviously want food.
Yeah, don't restrict it to the ones have more free roaming carts. Put the stuff that doesn't need a kitchen or whatever. on those type of carts.
Next easy fix is put some decorations up in the Hollywood Brown Derby, because one garland and a few sparkly lights isn't Christmas theming.
Yeah, which is a shame when actually Hollywood Studios does Christmas decorations so beautifully on the exterior. Transfer it inside, guys.
Yeah. And then the last but not least one for me is you have the Tip Top Club, which wasn't a club, it was a stage, and the other musicians, they all go off and have a break. Well, it's not fair on the party guest who was trogged one side of the park all the way over to hear the fantastic musicians at the Tip Top Club to see that they've gone on a 20-minute break. Have two sets of musicians so that they can alternate.
Or at least put a DJ on.
Yeah, so that people, if they're over in that area, don't feel that they've missed out. Because I imagine if you really wanted to hear Rachel singing, and she had a fantastic voice, dressed beautifully, her backing band were in white dinner jackets, black dicky bows, looked fantastic, but missing out on that isn't fair.
Yeah, I'd say, and at least post the time so people know when they're going to be there, because, when you're trying to schedule in the sing-along and, Kermit and Miss Piggy's show and that, you need to, like anything with Disney, we like a good plan, don't we?
Completely. And I don't think any of this is going to cost an absolute fortune at all. All I'm adding on there is a little bit of extra entertainment staff and a cookie and some hot chocolate.
Yeah.
I think for the price point that's been offered, I think that is acceptable. And I think people will be really happy that they've got the cookies, they've got the hot chocolate, they've got access to the rides, they've got access to these fantastic shows. I think it's something that would make the event a lot more happy.
Definitely. This is going to be really interesting, Michelle, to see whether or not your little suggestions are anywhere close to what they may or may not do.
Well, even if they do some of them, particularly with regards to the queues for the food, it would be, I imagine, for a lot of people, welcomed. But remember, if you're wanting to do this fantastic event year in, year out, you've got to learn from it, and you've got to make sure that people go away feeling that they've had value. And I think, to be quite honest, the people that did attend came away thinking that it perhaps was not value, and they probably wouldn't want to attend again in the same year or even ever again, unless some tweaks were made.
Yeah, which when we know people want to attend, Mickey's Not So Scary and Mickey's Very Merry on repeat, they want to go 2 or 3 times minimum over that season, then that's how you want this party to be treated as well, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. Give people a little bit of something to think that they've got a little treat, okay? Just a little cookie. Come on. Anyway, those were my thoughts on how to make Jollywood Nights a little bit more fantastic and exciting. And if you've got any ideas, or if you're planning to go, please get in touch. We would love to know what you feel about this event. And please don't think I am dismissing it. I think it is a fantastic event. I am not going to book for this year because I don't think this year's offering as it stands is amazing. However, I will eat my hat if on Sunday, when I'm watching some of the YouTubes that have come out from Friday's night and they've turned it around and there's a little bit more value for the money, I may change my mind.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one to see, because we know there's been so much, I was going to use the word negative, I think that might be a bit harsh, but because there's been so much consternation over that opening night, you would like to think Disney are listening to their guests, recognising where those faults, those issues are, and trying their best to make this the event that it ought to be.
Yeah, completely. Disney, you are the market leader, in my opinion, in theme park entertainment. There is no excuse. Make this an event that people are literally fighting to get into.
Absolutely, that's what it should be, yeah.
Because you can do it. You are amazing. And we hold you up to such high standard. When it just dips a bit, we get a little bit chuffed off.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Michelle, we're so used to that high standard, and, a bit like I said with the movies, when we're used to to that level, we notice when it's not there.
Absolutely. Right, catch us on Instagram at DisDreamGirls. Catch our show notes, DisneyDreamGirls.com. Our Patreon page, patreon.com/DisneyDreamGirls. Get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. But until next time, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.